What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and today I'm going to be going over Tyler's Gill banned deck. So, yes, we do know all these characters are banned. Obviously, the campus championship is named Banned Brawl, but we believe that the engines inside of the deck are still very playable. So we wanted to have a little fun and have some very overpowered characters all duke it out and see who was the best. So let's go ahead and just jump into the deck profile. All right, so this is Gill, the angel from Street Fighter. He is most recently banned as time of recording. And let's talk about how I do deck profiles. So if you haven't seen one of my deck profiles, basically, as opposed to just like reading verbatim what each and every card does, I'm going to tell you and give you the elevator pitch of what the deck wants to do, as well as the interactions inside of the character. So what does Gill want to do? Gill wants to give everything plus speed or minus speed, and then every time that my opponent plays a card twice per turn, I'm going to draw an additional card, so an additional resource to try and play some stuff. What this Gill deck wants to do is it wants to survive long enough and just play off of incremental advantage. It's playing the all symbol, and so its entire job is to play as many cards as possible. And so the deck has been tailored to make those cards as effective and as useful as possible. So let's just jump into it. So the first card that we're going to be playing is Gill's Ultra Soul Devourer. It's just another trigger off of Gill. Its best use is the response card pool. After your opponent plays a card twice per turn, draw a card. So you get to draw off of Gill, you get to draw off of Soul Devourer, and it lets you make a really big swing turn on my next turn. It's got a really good 1 low block. Really fantastic card, as well as it hits like a truck. It is a 7 low for 8 in Gill that gains the additional life. Yeah, he's a 5/27, but that gain 2 off of everything is super nutty whenever he starts swinging in big. The main kill card of the deck, this super fair and balanced card, Shadow Slicer. It is a Desperation 3 weapon. It is a 4 high for 4, but it has something real special inside of Gill. So I'm going to read the card a little bit. So first off, it says lose 2 vitality. This attack gets 2 speed and 2 damage. So it's a 6 high for 6 now. And then inside of Gill, it's going to get an additional 3 speed. And if it gets 3 or more speed, if the speed changes by 3 or more inside of Gill, you get to gain that 2 life. So it's now a 6, 7, 8, 9 high for 6 that it was supposed to lose you 2, and that was the cost, but Gill now counterset that cost. These 2 cards together are unbelievably crazy, to the point where I'm surprised nobody was playing it at the Worlds that he got banned. In addition to remove a copy of Shadow Slicer from your discard pile, add it back to your hand. So he turns 1 copy into 4 copies. You can just play these all out all willy-nilly, and it's just here's 6 damage that you're just not blocking because they're all 9 speed for no reason. That is the main way you kill people. The next card is 3 Ghost Thief Funeral. This card is just, once again, it's a 9 mid for 6. If you have a momentum, discard it, and whenever they don't block it because you're playing as Gill, they lose an additional 3 vitality, and you draw an additional 3 cards. Really strong. Just feeding more into try and find more cards. The next big kill card is Face Splitter. This card gets absolutely massive. It gets a 1 speed, 1 damage for each weapon card in your card pool. We're playing all weapons except for the big baby inside of our attack lineup. And then if your opponent's at Desperation, you get to draw a card. And then if they block it, any of these, you get to draw additional cards. It gets more speed off of Gill. This thing just hits like a truck. Like they had to deal with all those Shadow Slicers, and now they have to deal with Face Splitters at the end. Really silly. 1 Syndicate Slice. Basically, this card's just a free momentum. It gains you your 2 life, and then it says if it's blocked, you're going to draw 1 off of Gill, draw 1 off of Slice. They're just not allowed to really interact with this card. So that was all the attacks. They're just a bunch of utility attacks of like, hey, don't interact with me. I'm going to be doing a bunch of cool, rad stuff. And so now I want to talk about the assets and actions of the deck. We're not actually playing any actions because as a 5-hander, actions can be scary sometimes unless they're like astronomically good. And this Gill deck under all just didn't need them. And so the first asset we're going to be playing is Black Bear Diner. This card just lets you reset a foundation, one of the best assets in the game currently. I've got a really good foundation that I want to use again. Maybe it had a commit cost, maybe it had a flip cost. Well, I'll remove it and then play it back once more, and then get to use it a second time on the enhanced step. Or if my opponent has a really good foundation that I don't want them to have during this step, maybe that's the thing that's going to reset my speed, I'll get rid of that and then put it back. We're playing 1 United Kingdom of Smash. It just gives me a little bit more damage. The draw abilities on this card aren't necessarily relevant, but like enhance commit an asset for +2 damage is worth it. And then lastly, 1 Scarlet Thunder. It says if discard a momentum, which we don't have very many momentum outs, if my non-throw attack deals damage, which they will because they're not being blocked because of all the speed that I have. Add one of the card from my card pool to my hand. So Scarlet Thunder just gets to work. Just pick up stuff and just keep replaying cards. So those were all the assets. I now want to push into the foundation lineup, and once again, as opposed to telling you and reading the cards verbatim, I'm going to tell you more of their role inside of the deck. And so the first section of cards that I have are the self-mill cards, or the discard from the top of my deck cards, so that I can Shadow Slicer on turn 2 as quickly as I can. So the first thing we're playing is 3 Sense of Morals. Just every enhance I can check a 4 and ready a foundation that's been committed. Even if I don't have any foundations that have been committed, I can still use the check of 4 in order to try and get those Shadow Slicers into my discard pile. From here, I'm playing for the OG Mecha Ninja. This card has 2 goals. It's a kill you more card, as well as a mill card. It can mill 2. Since the Morals only gets to mill 1 every enhance, this one gets to mill 2 every enhance, as well as after you play it, your next weapon card gets +2 to its check. So it can let you extend big combos out. Playing 4 Profane Sanctuary, just once per turn, we both discard 2, as well as it stops Breaker, which might be the one thing that can stop the Shadow Slicer loops. We're playing double Never a Day Without Training. Sometimes, like the worst place to have a Shadow Slicer is in your hand. I never want to have 2 of them in my hand. And so Never a Day Without Training is just like, oh, I'll flip, discard a card, draw a card. Or sometimes we do need to draw even more cards. And so being able to take and just flip, if I have an asset, draw a card, might be the thing that like keeps me alive. Maybe they've committed or banged my character. The extra draw power is helpful. Next is how do I kill them? This is the stats section of the deck, the extra bonus stuff. So a Worthy Vessel says enhance once per turn, lose 1 vitality. This attack gets -2 or +2 damage. So in Gill, it says lose 1 vitality, gain 2 vitality for +2/+2. Because of increase in the speed, or lose 1 vitality, -2 damage, and then gain your 2 back, hopefully if their attack has few enough keywords. In addition to that, we've got English Aristocrat. It just says commit if your attack has 2 or fewer printed keywords, which it does because of our goal. His attack gets +3 speed. If it deals damage, gain an additional 3. If it has 2 keywords, that means that Gill also triggers, which means I get an additional 3 speed. So 3 speed, gain 3, gain 2. This card's not fair inside of this character. Up next, we've got the Key to Humanity's Freedom. So this card does 2 things. Number 1, it kind of makes up for the lack of damage that Gill has. Yeah, our attacks are all super fast, and yeah, that does kill people. But sometimes I need to be able to kill them a little quicker. So the Key to Humanity's Freedom just says twice per turn, my attack not only gets a bunch of speed, but it also gets a bunch of damage for free, just as long as I have an asset, which I'm sure I will. Onto the defensive part of the deck, we've got triple Telekinetic Mastery. Every time my opponent increases a stat, I'm going to decrease either stat. Just really useful. It also gets cards into the discard pile for Shadow Slice. We're playing 4 Commander of Outworld's Army. After I take 4 or more damage from an unblocked attack, which I'm gaining my life, the next attack gets -2 damage, which I'll gain more life back, and then I flip one of my opponent's problem cards. Maybe they got a card in there that cancels out or gets rid of the awesome speed that I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and flip that. Up next, I kind of put these off at the end because they're kind of just the tech pieces of the deck. They don't really have a signified spot. 1, True Identity. This card just says my attacks get a little cheaper for the turn. If I'm at Desperation and I have a True Identity, it's literally impossible to fail a Shadow Slice loop. So I'll just form commit. All my Shadow Slices are now incredibly cheap to play, and I'll just play them on a I can't fail them. Same thing with a Sun's Love. A Sun's Love is just a first form, draw an additional card off with Gill. Turning Gill into a 6-hander is insane because every time that they play a card, I get to draw an additional card, and this says draw a card, and if they want to grab momentum, I'll draw another card, and I'll draw another card, and I'll draw another card. There's just so much card draw in a character that just like wants to have as many options and as many playable things in his hand as possible, and a Sun's Love just facilitates that. Up next, we've got double Hiding in Plain Sight. Like I said, we don't have a huge momentum use, and so this card is fine, but it's not like the best option we could possibly have. This card could be easily traded out for something else, but at the same time, discarding momentum in order to get whatever we need to have happen. Discard momentum for, Yoshimitsu Attack. I cannot think of it. Ghostly Funeral. Thank you. Ghostly Funeral is just good enough to have this in here. And then my last card is Double Reluctant Icon. It's really the only defense inside of the deck. This card says, choose one card in my opponent's card pool for the rest of the combat phase. It can't leave their card pool playable while committed. And so this card is just, I will draw it off of Gill, and then I'll play it after I block with it. It moves into my staging area. And so now I've just like essentially built an additional foundation on my opponent's turn, so I can try and backswing them with some Shadow Slices later. All right, so this was Tyler's Gill 1-dot deck. Yes, we all know that these characters have been banned, but we just wanted to have a little fun with this tournament bracket. So if you like the deck, make sure you let Tyler know down in the comments down below. What did you like? What did you not like? What would you change? And if you like the engine, make sure that you go out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity and sub at the $1 level and have access to our Discord, where we can talk about how cool and awesome the 60-card main board deck is. We would absolutely love to hear a little bit of your feedback there. And if you want to catch the campus championships live, go out to twitch.tv/TCGUniversity every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and we'll film them out there for you. So from all of us here at TCG University, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.